Welcome to the Canvas Nomad Podcast with your host, Chris Jack, where AI meets reality.
Canvas Nomad vibes unite. Move with you, day or night. Canvas Nomad vibes unite. Move with you, day or night.
You're listening to the Canvas Nomad Podcast. And now for your host, Chris Jack.
Haha, what's going on, y'all? What's good, YouTube? And for anybody else that's listening out there, I appreciate y'all. I am your host, Chris Jack. This is the Canvas Nomad Podcast, bringing you something new, something that I just felt, I really wanted to dive in. I like deep conversation. I like deep intellectual debate, and I felt like this was a better outlet for me to get my thoughts across. So I just wanted to say this is a new thing that I'm bringing along. I know I'm saying ums and ahs a lot. Just rock with me for a little bit. I'm gonna get this going the right way. I'm gonna get this habit going, and I'm gonna polish it even more. But for now, I want to get this off the ground because I think this is something that will be beneficial to a lot of people. And I figured for the first episode of the Canvas Nomad Podcast, what other better topic to talk about than travel? It's one of those things that I just feel has been, as of late, something that I really resonate with. I would even go as far as say that I feel like I found my why in travel. And, I felt like that was a great topic for the first episode of the Canvas Nomad. And trust me, we're going to go deep with these podcasts. We're going to really talk about what Earth, the stories that Earth and the things that come with it can provide. It isn't just going to be solely about travel, but it is going to involve travel in some way. We're going to talk about some kind of history. We're going to talk about stories. We're going to go all over the place. But at the end of the day, it's going to always come back to home because at the end of the day, this is a self-improvement travel channel. And I figured, again, first one we're going to talk about is travel. And specifically, today we're going to talk about solo travel because, well, I think it's the best way to travel. I am an advocate that whereas if you can travel at least one time in your life, just solo travel at least once in your life, I guarantee you it'll probably change your life. Now, I understand there's stories that can happen, there's fear, but at the end of the day, what did Will Smith say the best? The best things in life are on the other side of fear. And I think solo travel is a fast forward. It's a hyper, I don't even know the word to say right now. It's just an accelerated version of life. When you go overseas and you are by yourself, all rewards are yours. All failures are your fault. And I really believe that is something that really resonated with me during my travels. I've done 3 months in 3 different parts of the world, and I feel as though I don't have a dog in. I don't have maybe necessarily the most experience as a traveler per se, but I have a dog in this fight. I've lived in other parts of the world, per se. I feel like a month is one billing cycle, and once you've done 3 billing cycles, you can say you've lived there for a portion, even if it's an extended vacation, as some haters will say. But I digress. Today, I want to introduce to you my two AI co-hosts. They're going to be talking about an infamous debate that's going on online right now. Solo travel versus group travel. It's not something that's been going on right now, per se. This is an age-old debate, but I've been seeing it come up a lot more in topics and conversations, so I figured, why not? Let's talk about it. So, without further ado, I'm going to let my co-host take it away. I might chime in every now and again, but I'm going to let y'all go ahead, all right? All right, floor is yours, y'all.
All right, traveler.
Yeah.
So are you ready to finally settle this age-old debate about solo travel versus group travel?
Mm-hmm.
Which one is actually better?
Yeah.
We've got a ton of Reddit threads. some really insightful articles, even some YouTubers who were like chiming in on this topic.
Interesting.
And it's going to be interesting because me with my ISTJA personality,
Oh.
I'm all about like the safety in numbers. you know?
Yes, sir.
And then we have our expert here who is an ENTPT.
Yes.
And so she's all about that solo expedition.
Yeah,
you know?
it's true.
So this should be fun.
It's going to be good. It's not just about like the logistics of travel. It's really about like who we are. You know, it gets down to like our comfort zones, our desires for self-discovery even, like how we handle those moments when we're kind of lost in translation.
Yeah.
Without, you know, having a total superhero meltdown.
Totally. Yeah. And speaking of superheroes, I was watching this YouTuber, Maddie Gold, and she's all about solo travel safety. And she had some Iron Man level prep tips.
Oh, really?
Like snapping a selfie with your taxi driver,
Interesting.
sending outfit pics to a friend before you go out at night.
Okay.
Even checking those State Department advisories before you go. Which makes me think, you know, maybe having a Robin to your Batman isn't such a bad idea.
Okay, I get that. I applaud Maddie Gold's like preparedness, but those Reddit threads are also full of stories about how solo travel can boost your confidence so much. Like users are saying it's about facing your fears head on. You become your own rescue team, and you realize you're capable of so much more than you thought you were. Like it's not just about like avoiding danger. It's more about like discovering your own inner strength.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like finding your inner Wonder Woman.
So are you saying that solo travel creates Wonder Woman? Or that Wonder Woman just prefers to travel solo?
Okay.
Because, I mean, correlation isn't causation.
Right.
You know, maybe these folks were already independent souls. And solo travel just happened to fit their, like, pre-existing awesomeness.
Sure, I say.
Plus, group travel has its merits, you know?
Right.
Especially when you avoid those classic pitfalls
Oh, yeah.
that I've seen firsthand.
What kind?
Like that friend who insists on blasting the same Backstreet Boys song
Oh.
for the entire road trip.
Oh, my God.
Talk about a kryptonite experience.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right. Okay.
But I wouldn't be so quick to dismiss the power of solo travel. It's not just about avoiding annoying friends,
Yeah,
though that can be a plus, I'll admit.
of course.
But absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence, my friend.
True.
You've had bad experiences. I get that. But there are tons of Reddit threads about the benefits of solo travel.
Right.
The psychological benefits like freedom, self-reflection, deeper cultural immersion.
Yeah.
One user even said it's like being in the company of the world,
Wow.
which honestly sounds a lot better than being trapped in a car with someone who thinks Barbie Girl
Oh.
is the ultimate travel anthem.
Okay, that's a low blow.
I know.
I'll give you this, though.
What's that?
Those Reddit stories about connecting with locals,
Yeah.
jumping into like these spontaneous adventures.
Yeah.
It does sound kind of tempting.
Right.
There was even this YouTuber who made a video called Why I Regret Solo Traveling.
Really?
And it was all about missing out on personal growth
Wow.
because she
Yeah.
didn't put herself out there and meet new people.
Interesting.
So maybe striking a balance is key.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's about finding the right travel style for you. Some people thrive on their own.
Yeah.
Others need that group setting.
Yeah.
Neither one is better than the other. It's about knowing yourself and what you enjoy, and maybe getting a little bit of growth along the way.
I like that.
It's kind of interesting how this whole conversation is like the hero's journey in comic books.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the protagonist usually starts surrounded by their allies,
Right.
like their own little Justice League. But at some point, they got to go on a solo mission,
Right.
face their fears, and then come back stronger, like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting I need a solo adventure to unlock my full superhero potential
Maybe.
and like come back with a cool code name and a tricked out utility belt?
Maybe we all need a bit of that origin story magic.
It's true.
But let's be real for a second.
Okay.
Even the most independent heroes need a support system.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance, you know,
Yeah.
between pushing your own boundaries and
Yeah.
having a team to back you up when things get rough.
Totally. Makes sense. Like the Avengers,
Makes
they
sense.
each have their strengths.
Right.
But together, they're unstoppable.
Exactly.
But back to solo travel for a second.
Okay.
This article I read talked about embracing discomfort
Oh,
to
yeah.
build resilience. Basically saying if you can navigate a foreign city without Google Translate,
Right.
you can handle anything life throws at you.
Yeah.
No villain stands a chance.
It's like a real world training montage.
No, totally.
Except instead of lifting weights,
Yeah.
you're navigating public transportation in a language you don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
bartering at a local market, or like summoning the courage to try that street food that looks a little questionable.
Right. And emerging victorious with a hilarious story to tell.
Yes.
Hopefully one that doesn't involve any calls to international poison control.
Hopefully.
Speaking of stories, those Reddit threads are a gold mine.
Oh, yeah.
I was reading one called, Am I Doing Something Wrong? Is solo travel just not for me?
Oh, wow.
And it was so heartwarming to see this community of travelers sharing tips, encouraging each other, even commiserating over their mishaps.
Yeah.
It's like a virtual support group for adventurers,
I love that.
proving that you don't have to go it alone even when you travel solo.
Right. That's what's so cool about solo travel. It's not about isolating yourself.
Right.
It's about opening yourself up to new connections. Yeah.
Both with yourself and with the world around you.
Yeah.
It's like becoming a citizen of the world,
Wow.
like a member of this global tribe of explorers
I like that.
who are searching for something beyond the ordinary.
You've definitely given me a lot to think about.
Good.
Maybe there's a way to combine the best of both worlds.
Oh, like what?
Like a group trip designed for solo travelers.
Interesting.
Imagine this, a shared itinerary,
Okay.
but with built-in flexibility for exploring on your own.
I like that.
You could choose to join the group activities or venture off on your own,
Right.
knowing you've got like this network of like-minded travelers to connect with.
Yeah.
Kind of like the X-Men,
Oh, yeah.
each with their own powers, but united by a common purpose.
I love that. That's a brilliant idea.
Thanks.
A hybrid approach that allows for both independence and camaraderie. You could even have like optional group dinners,
Right.
excursions, or even just meet up at the end of the day to swap stories and tips. That's a great idea. Like having your cake and eating it too,
Exactly.
in a travel themed sense.
Of course.
And who knows, maybe over those shared meals and stories,
Yeah.
some unexpected connections might blossom.
Oh.
Like those crossover comics,
Oh, I see.
where heroes from different universes collide,
Right.
sparking unexpected alliances,
Yeah.
and maybe even a little romance.
Now you're speaking my language. The potential for serendipitous encounters is definitely a plus, whether it's a deep conversation with a local artisan
Yeah.
or a chance meeting with a fellow traveler who shares your passion for, say, obscure superhero trivia.
Wait, are you telling me there are other people out there
Yes.
who could debate the merits of Aquaman's costume
Absolutely.
with the same level of fervor that I can?
Of course.
This changes everything. But seriously,
Yeah.
this whole conversation has me thinking.
About what?
Maybe we're getting too caught up in the destination and not enough in the journey itself.
You're so right. You're hitting on a key point here.
Okay.
It's not just about where you go. It's about how you get there,
Right.
who you become along the way, and the experiences that shape you.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like those road trip movies
Yes.
where the characters start out with a plan, but end up taking detours,
Right.
facing unexpected challenges.
Yeah. And ultimately discovering something more meaningful than they ever imagined.
Totally.
Yeah.
And maybe those detours lead to some hilarious misadventures
Yeah.
and bonding moments that wouldn't have happened if they'd stuck to the original plan.
Totally.
Because let's be real,
Okay.
the best travel stories are rarely about perfect itineraries.
Right.
They're about those unexpected twists and turns
Exactly.
that make you laugh, cry, and maybe even question your sanity.
Yes. Embrace the chaos,
Right.
the unpredictable nature of travel,
Mhm.
and most importantly, remember to pack a good sense of humor.
It's key.
It's the ultimate travel companion.
For sure.
It helps you navigate any obstacle. Yeah.
From language barriers to lost luggage to that moment when you realize you've accidentally ordered something that looks suspiciously like.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah,
And trust me, a good laugh can diffuse even the most awkward situation.
totally. But in all seriousness,
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the appeal of both solo and group travel.
Me too.
Each offers unique benefits, challenges, and opportunities for growth.
Right. It's not about choosing one over the other. Right. It's about finding what resonates with you,
Yes.
with your personality, your travel style, and your desire to explore the world in your own unique way.
You've nailed it.
Thanks.
It's about embracing the journey with all its complexities and contradictions and realizing that the most important destination is often within ourselves.
Okay, so here we are, the final act of our solo versus group travel saga. It's been a journey with a lot of twists and turns, maybe even a few sparks flying. Kind of like when Thor accidentally zapped Iron Man during a training exercise. Right. What's so interesting about all this is that it really does mirror the complexities of any good story.
Yeah.
We've got the safety-conscious planner, the free-spirited adventurer,
Right.
and like a whole range of experiences in between.
Yeah.
It's kind of like those ensemble superhero movies
Oh, yeah.
where each character has their own perspective
Right.
and skills.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of unique perspectives,
Yeah.
remember that Reddit thread
Which one?
where someone said solo travel is like being in the company of the world?
Oh, yeah.
That one really stuck with me.
I know what you mean.
It's like you become this open book,
Hmm.
inviting strangers to share their stories and perspectives.
Right.
You're not just observing the culture,
Yeah.
they're actually becoming a part of it.
Right.
Even if it's just for a short time.
Exactly. You're shedding your preconceived notions and embracing the unknown,
Yeah.
like becoming a student of the world.
I like that. It's like those scenes in superhero movies
Yep.
where the hero goes into a totally new realm
Right.
and immerses themselves in the customs and traditions of a different society.
Totally. They might even learn a new fighting style
Yeah.
or discover a hidden power.
Right. And maybe even find a love interest along the way.
Ooh, maybe. A little romance never hurt anyone.
Right. Especially when you're in a new and exciting place.
Exactly. But even without the romance, solo travel offers a level of self-discovery.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find in a group.
Makes sense. It's about getting rid of distractions,
Mm-hmm.
facing your fears,
Yeah.
and coming out transformed.
Right. Kind of like a butterfly emerging from its cocoon.
Okay, I'm sold. Solo travel.
Hey.
Next stop, Machu Picchu solo and ready to mingle with the llamas. But for those of us who aren't ready to go full lone wolf, what are some takeaways from making the most of group travel?
That's a good question. And you know, it's not really that different from how a successful superhero team works.
Okay.
Communication is key.
Right.
Before you even pack your bags, have those honest conversations about expectations, budgets, travel styles,
Yeah.
and maybe even musical preferences.
Definitely.
You know, to avoid those Backstreet Boys-induced road trip meltdowns.
For sure.
Yeah.
And maybe a no complaining about the food rule,
Okay.
unless it's something truly questionable.
Yeah.
Like that fermented shark I had in Iceland.
Oh, gosh.
Some things are just universally unappetizing.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But beyond communication, it's about embracing the differences within the group.
Okay.
Like a good superhero team uses each member's strengths.
Right,
Maybe
yeah.
one person's the planner, another is the spontaneous adventurer,
Yeah.
and someone else is the photographer,
Yeah.
getting all those Instagram-worthy shots.
Totally. The key is to find a rhythm that works for everyone.
Yeah,
You know, allowing for solo exploration, but still having that feeling of being together and sharing the experience.
right. It's like those big battle scenes
Yeah.
where every hero has their moment, and they use their powers to win.
Yeah, I like that. And speaking of winning,
Yeah.
what's the big takeaway?
From this whole solo versus group travel debate, whether you're going solo or with a group,
Right.
the most important thing is to be open-minded,
Yeah.
be curious, and be ready for anything.
I like that because at the end of the day, it's the journey that matters,
It is.
not just the destination.
Right.
And maybe, just maybe along the way,
Yeah.
you'll discover a superpower or two,
Maybe.
make some lifelong friends,
Hopefully.
and even have some epic stories.
Yeah.
That could be their own comic book series.
So, Traveler the World is waiting.
It is.
What path will you choose?
Yeah.
The solo adventure, the group expedition,
Yeah.
or maybe a mix of both.
Right. The choice is yours.
Exactly.
Safe travels.
Ah.
And remember, no matter where you go, always pack a sense of humor. It's the ultimate travel companion.
Absolutely. It really is.
A sense of humor. Got it. Okay. Well, that's been our discussion for today. I hope you got something from it, because I certainly have. It really allowed me to understand some of the things that I've been thinking, some of the things that I've been, really resonating with, as I was telling you before. It's something that I don't know how to quite say it. Like, when you're over there, I'll tell you from my point of view, from my perspective, I just felt more alive than I've ever felt before. That's just the best way to say it. You're meeting new people, you're seeing new cultures, you're experiencing new things. I mean, man, I've done things that I can only dream of in some of these other places, just because it's not culturally the norm where I live. I'm from the United States. I live in New York. Well, I'm from New York, I should say. But it's just more or less that there's certain things here that I just wouldn't experience anywhere else. You know what I mean? And then there's certain things, other places that I wouldn't experience anywhere else. But because I live, in New York, I'm from New York, there are just certain things I take for granted because, being one of the most popular places in the world, I've already seen everything here. You know what I mean? So it's just time to spread wings and just see what else is in the world. And when you solo travel, those are the things that's what happens. I spent 3 months in Asia. I spent 3 months in Latin America, and I'm from the West Indies. The countless amount of times, the amount of islands I've been to, if you add it up, I'm well over 3 months. So it's just great to see that. But I'll honestly say, as a solo traveler, I've done Latin America, I've done Asia, and there are certain things, certain people I've met, certain experiences I've seen, things I've seen, like just the world itself, not even like activities or different, just Earth itself, landscapes. You're not getting an Appalachian terrain in New York City. It's just not happening. Maybe I might have to go to Hawaii to see that. Maybe the Florida Keys can kind of give you an idea of what it might look like, but you're really not getting that over here. You know what I mean? But in Vietnam, you go to Hulang Bay. That's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. You go to Conchagua in El Salvador. Oh, like the view of what you can see 3 islands and you can camp on a volcano. Let that sit in for a second. So it's just certain things that you're gonna experience overseas, and then I can honestly say, in terms of growing up, you're it's so accelerated because you have. You have to learn budgeting. You have to learn spontaneous travel. You have to learn safety. You have to learn just the ability. You have to learn charisma. You have to be able to talk to people, because what, you're going to be a mute the whole time you're there? You got to get out of your comfort zone when you solo travel. Now, I'm not saying you got to only solo travel, even though I think that is the route that I will take going in the future. I've already been to 7 places. I've solo traveled 8 times and been to 7 different places. I'm convinced that that's the way I'm going to travel going forward. I'm not saying that you have to do it, but if you do it at least once, I think it'll change your life. That's just my opinion. I hope you gained something from this conversation. It's your boy Chris Jack, the Canvas Nomad here, and thank you for listening to the Canvas Nomad Podcast. There's going to be a lot more coming, and stay tuned for the next one, and I'll talk to you later, alright? Alright, I'll see y'all later. Peace.
You just listened to another segment of the Canvas Nomad Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for more updates.